All right, so this video is going to be on the John's 360 stuff. The video. I've got the air conditioners on in here, so it's a little loud, but hopefully the video turns out okay. So the idea here is we just flew the Lockheed all the way to Kansas and back, and while we were in Kansas, we gave probably close to 80 people a ride in the airplane. And so the airplane flew a lot. It probably has 25 hours on it since we left last week. So you're looking at something, it sat outside, it is covered in dust, it's covered in oil, or not covered in oil, but it has some oil on it. It also rained on it while we were flying. So there were quite a few things that went on with it. And normally, especially rain, you can't get it off the airplane. It's just, you end up having to polish it again. So you get this dull coating over the top of it that's just really difficult to work with. And so one of the things that now we've already polished that leading edge, so we can't look at it, but one of the things that I wanted to do is see, and I will mention that when you have no coating on the wing, you can see right here, all I have done right here is wipe that off. I haven't polished it, I haven't done a single thing to it. It may be a little hard to tell, but you can see how much dirt and dust and grime is on the horizontal. So just to prove what I'm doing, I'm actually gonna wipe this off in the video so you can kind of see what's going on. But originally I wasn't totally sure whether the John 360 stuff was actually working, but after this trip I'm actually starting to change my mind. I think, and you can see right here, I've actually just wiped that off the same as that side. And then I wiped off the vertical here. So I was expecting to have to get this thing polished again after going, all the way to Kansas and back. And especially with it sitting outside while we were, one of the nights that we were there. But then add to it all the flying and stuff that we did. It's just kind of incredible that it's this easy to clean back up. So I'm gonna put the camera down and I'll actually show you what we're doing here. All right, so I don't know if it's gonna show up too well, but there's a little bit of oil streaks that are running back this way. There's some hand prints that were back here on the back that I wiped off, and they're totally gone. So I just want to kind of show what I'm doing here. So all of this dirt and dust and oil streaks that are on here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe them off. Now, and that's it. I mean, I'm not even rubbing hard. I'm just going through. You can see all the dirt and stuff that's coming off the rag. And so all we're doing is just going through here and wiping off the dirt that has gotten on here, and the hand prints and the oil, and that's it. So I'm like I said, originally I wasn't real sure whether that stuff was working because you couldn't really tell, but now that I've actually taken it on a trip and gotten it really dirty, it is working really well. Now the other horizontal got a lot more oil on it, so I'm going to carry the camera over there and we'll see how it gets cleaned up as well. I don't know if you can actually see there's streaks and stuff that are coming down through here where the oil splattered back here on this thing. So all I'm going to do is get the rag and come up here and see if we can just wipe it off. So I have to maybe wipe a little bit harder on this because it's got a little bit of grime on it. But the really interesting part is that it's all wiping off. I mean, there's hardly anything that's staying on here. So, And the other thing that I'll mention is when I go in and polish this thing, and that's all I do, I didn't put, before we put any ceramic on it, when you would take the rag and try to wipe it across the metal, it would stick to the metal and your hand would slide off the rag because the metal by itself was just so sticky. Where this is, you know, coming right off, there are, I'll get, you can see right here is the actual bug that's on there. That's not wiping off. That's going to take a little bit of wax or a little bit of moisture there to, I mean, it is wiping off if I scrub it hard, but it's something that you'd probably get off a little easier if you had a little bit of turtle wax to put on here, because one of the things that I've noticed is the turtle wax, now that I have that on here, it's not discoloring, and I'm talking about the spray, the liquid stuff, not the rub-on wax, but it actually isn't sticking to the metal anymore, so I can actually put that on here to wipe off the bugs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna end up, I think, giving them, they actually, the guys at John's 360, when I told them, now I will say this, they have some other products that you're supposed to be able to spray on top of this to clean it. That stuff ends up putting a really bad cloud on the metal, so that stuff I would not recommend. But the 360 stuff itself, the ceramic stuff that you put on, I'm gonna end up calling them, because what I was gonna say is they actually, when I told them what kind of problem I was having, they gave me all my money back. And I think I'm gonna call them and tell them to bill me again for the ceramic stuff, because it definitely, it appears to be working pretty good, because this is incredible that I'm able, this airplane is completely disgusting. It's got dirt and dust and oil and stuff all over it, and the stuff is just wiping right off. I'm not going to have to repolish it. All I got to do is just wipe it down and keep going. So I am pretty impressed. So I just wanted to do a quick video to show what is going on, because I originally did not think that stuff actually worked very well. All right, I want to show some of what I'm doing here. So I've got this wax that we're using to spray on the thing to get the bugs and the oil and stuff off. We're using these little rags that you get from the auto parts store. So I got one that's dirty that I'm wiping everything down with, and then I got another clean one that I go back and clean it. I don't let the stuff dry. I clean it pretty much as soon as I put it on there. So we got the John's, we polish it. We got John's 360. Some of the airplane we ended up polishing again because the John's 360 left it kind of cloudy. And that's why I was saying that I wasn't sure whether the stuff worked or not. But now that we've gone on this long trip, I feel pretty good that it's actually doing better than the polish by itself, because we have gone on trips with just polish before we put the 360 on it, and we pretty much had to repolish the whole airplane when we got it back, and that wasn't near as long a trip as what we just did in the last week. So I'm feeling pretty good. Polished, John's 360, polished again. This stuff is what we use to wipe it off, and we just use these little rags, and it's pretty impressive. So I'm gonna try, and I'll report back if something changes, but right now it looks like this is working pretty good, and we're not gonna have to repolish the whole airplane after that pretty long trip.